Welcome to my tutorial. I will be going over measurements and materials at the beginning of this video, and then we will get right into the process. So I want to talk about measurements first. This is the finished piece of what we'll be making in the video. And my back panel was 15 inches, which was the measurement of my back. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to measure your back and write down what that measurement is, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to want to also measure your side. So I'm going to make a little diagram for you guys, and I'm going to show you what I mean. So for the measurement of the back panel, it was 15 inches for me. Measure your back and write down what your measurement is. For your side, measure either to when your breast starts, do not go to the center of it, or when your chest ends, depending on the size of your bust and how big it is, or if you have one at all, obviously. Just measure till your side ends. Do not go near this. If you have a bust, do not go near the center of it. So you just want to go up until it kind of starts from the side, okay, which was 4 inches for me. And for the front panels with weight 4 yarn that I used, the largest part came out to 12 inches. And that accommodates for this kind of coverage vest-like look that you're going to get from it, and will help with hugging your body. You can fold over, you can wrap this tight around your body. So these measurements definitely, with the fact that they are fitted measurements, they will still be loose and comfortable. And just make sure that you measure your back and your side, and know that if you are using worsted weight like I am, and you increase the amount of rows that I did, you will have about 12 inches of the front panels. So make sure that you keep these measurements in mind while you're working on your garment with me. Okay, so first let's talk about yarn. So let's move these out of the way. Let's talk about yarn. So for yarn, you will need about 2 skeins. So for me, my primary color were these colors. And I used a whole skein, and I used about half a skein, so 1.5 skeins, and then I used 3 other colors to make the garment. So I'd say I used about 2 to 2.5 skeins. Now it really depends on how your color work will be, and if you just do one whole garment, one color, and just do the flower and the center a different color, and that's the only time you do a color change, you'll need about 2 to 3 skeins. 2 to 3 will work for this garment if you're just using the color change for the flower in the center of the back panel. I used loops and thread worsted weight yarn, and I used a 7mm hook, and all of the measurements I spoke about previously took into account that. So definitely make a swatch and kind of figure out how you can replicate this with the rows that I did, and the measurements that you will need specifically for you, because this is a very size up and size down pattern. I want this to fit everybody of any size. So I recommend worsted weight yarn. I think that it works for this garment, and I wore this garment in the summer. It's summer where I'm at right now, and I was not hot at all. I know some people do not like acrylic yarn, but acrylic yarn shouldn't get hated on as much as it does. So I would recommend using worsted weight yarn, whether it's acrylic or another fiber if you hate acrylic, but I recommend worsted weight. No smaller than DK weight, but any smaller and you'll have to really modify the pattern. So I recommend using worsted weight, no more than 2 to 3 skeins, and make sure you keep in mind how many colors that you used. I used 3 other colors to help me make this garment. So now let's talk about materials. You will need a darning needle. I use this to weave in my ends and sew the panels together. A 7mm hook or a 6.5, but I recommend 7mm or a 6.5. You will definitely need stitch markers. I used about 3. You will definitely need stitch markers for this pattern. You will need them, if anything, for the sleeves. You will need them for the sleeves. So please have at least 2 to 3 stitch markers handy. You can use bobby pins, safety pins, a piece of yarn to mark your stitches. You don't need to have these specific stitch markers that the marker tries to sell you, but just anything that can mark a stitch. Measuring tape. You will need this obviously to measure your body and your garment as you go. It's very important. This is a measure to fit type of pattern, so you will need to keep measuring and keep trying on your pattern. And lastly, scissors. You will need scissors to cut your yarn. And that's it. Let's get into the pattern. So for the first part of the project, for the beginning, we will be working in and around, but first we need to make a magic circle. So I'm going to make one. So for the first row, we're going to chain 1. That does not count as a single crochet, but we are going to make 8 single crochets into this magic circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Close that magic circle by pulling on the tail, nice and tight, and leave that tail right there. And then slip stitch into the 8th, the first stitch that you made, not the chain 1, but the first stitch you made. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Slip stitch in there. Tighten your tail once again. And that is row 1. For row 2, you are going to chain 2. That does not count as a double crochet. So for these, you are going to put 2 double crochet in each stitch around. So that will amount to 18 stitches. So you're going to yarn over, go in to the first loop that you slip stitched into from the previous row, pull through once, pull through twice, and that is your first double crochet. And then you're going to do that again in the same stitch for a increase stitch. Okay, so you're gonna do that same thing in each stitch around. So we'll do it again. Yarn over, pull through once, pull through twice, yarn over, pull through once, pull through twice. So that's 4 double crochets. Okay, now you need 16 to finish the row, so let's keep going. We have finished. Easiest way to check if you have 18 or 16 stitches is to count the 2 clusters, and if you have 8 of them, then you have 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now we are going to cut our yarn for the center. I already did that, so you are going to leave a little bit of a loop and get your petal color. Okay, so in this first double crochet that we did, slip stitch in there. Okay, grab your petal color, okay, loop it through and slip stitch through the stitch. Now pull on the tail right here, okay? Pull on the tail and then take your working yarn and pull through. Now tighten both tails like that. Hold them with your fingers like this. Okay. Chain 2. They do not count as a double crochet, but they do add height. So in that first stitch, working underneath the tails so that you can weave them in as you go, you're going to double crochet once, and then again in that same stitch, and then one more time in that same stitch, so 3, okay? You're going to chain 1, skip a stitch, into the next stitch you're going to do that same thing. You're going to double crochet 3 in the same stitch to create the beginnings of your petal. Okay, chain 1, skip a stitch, go into the next stitch, 3 double crochet in that same stitch, and this will give you 8 petals. Okay, so I will meet back with you when I am done with this row. Okay, your finished work should look like this. You're going to slip stitch into the first double crochet you made, like the 2 other rows we've done. And this is where it's getting a little different. So we're going to pull a long loop, or this is where your stitch markers come in handy. You can put a stitch marker in it, okay, so that you still keep your yarn, so we can use it again when we're done with this row. So we are about to work in the background color, so get your background color ready. Okay, now you're going to, I like to work with a slip knot for this. So you're going to attach to the first skipped stitch. Okay, so we're going to say it's this one. You're going to pull through with this, okay, and then you're going to chain 1, okay, and then you're going to single crochet, and then you're going to make an extended single crochet, and that counts as a double crochet. Okay, push that tail to the back. Okay, then you're gonna chain 4. Okay, yarn over, go to the next skipped stitch, pull through once, pull through twice. This is how it should look. You're gonna chain 4 again, yarn over into the next stitch, like that. Make sure you're not working over those chain ones. You want them to be in front of them, okay? Like that. This is how your work should look from behind or underneath, and then this is how it should look in the front. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, chain, yarn over, double crochet into the next skipped stitch from previous row, and that is it. I will meet you back when this is complete. Alright, so your row should look like this, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to slip stitch into your extended single crochet. That counts as your first double crochet of this row. Slip stitch, and then you're going to switch your stitch markers. So you're going to pull out that loop from your petal color and then switch to the background color. Okay, push as best as you can just to make it easier, and okay, push the loop to the front. You're gonna chain 2. This is the only part of your work that can be over the chain 4. Okay, so chain 2, Okay, that does not count as your double crochet, but it does add height. So push the chain 4 to the back. In the first double crochet you made, put 1 double crochet. In the next one, you're going to put 2 double crochet, so that will be an increase. Okay, and then in the next one, simple, just 1 double crochet. So the sequence is 1 double crochet, increase, 1 double crochet, and then chain 2. Repeat that in the next one. Okay, now a double crochet increase, just 2 double crochet in the next stitch, or the middle stitch, or the second stitch, and then the last one, just 1, and then chain 2. So you're going to repeat that. Make sure that you're working behind or in front of the chain 4. Don't work over it. The only part that should be is that beginning chain. That's it. Everything else should be, you should be able to do this, okay? So best way to do that is to push this back and just kind of pull on this so that you can see it better and you don't mistake anything. Alright, and I will meet you back when I am finished with this row. I wanted to do this last one with you guys because it can be a little tricky, especially if your last double crochet is kind of being pulled by this previous chain. So after you've chained 2, you're going to yarn over and continue that, okay? Continue the same steps. The next one's an increase. Okay, and then make sure you pull on that. Alright, so that you don't miss it. You don't want to miss that stitch. It's very important that we keep these stitch counts, okay? And then you're going to slip stitch, or chain 2, slip stitch into the first double crochet you made, and voila. Pull on the loop, switch yarns again, and then this is what your work should look like. Okay, this is the front, this is the back. Okay, starting to look more like a flower. Okay, so on to row 6. Just like the previous row, the beginning chain 2 should only be what's attached to the previous row's chain, okay? Yarn over, double crochet, okay, double crochet once, and then another one for a double crochet increase, okay? That's what we're doing. We're gonna chain 5, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna yarn over, go to the next double crochet, and make an increase. So that's just 2 double crochets in there. Okay, so in each double crochet from your background row will be a double crochet increase. So that just means 2 double crochets in each stitch. Okay, so I'll do it one more time with you guys. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn over, go into the double crochet, pull through once, pull through twice, and then repeat that in the same double crochet for a double crochet increase. Chain 5, and there you go. Repeat that all around until you reach the end of your row. Alright, so you've chained your last 5 chains, slip stitch in that first double crochet we made, slip stitch, pull through, switch yarns, So this is what your rose should look like. Okay. Alright, should look like this, and this is what the back should look like. Yeah, well, minus that. The tails won't stay, but this is what your back should look like, and this is what your front should look like. So like previous rows, we're gonna chain 2. Alright, so 1 double crochet, okay, in the first stitch, double crochet increase in the next, so that's just 2 double crochet in the same stitch, and then 1 double crochet, and then another 1 double crochet, okay? So it's 1 double crochet increase, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and the last 2 double crochets. You're going to chain 2, and then we'll repeat that. So 1 double crochet in the first stitch, and the second double crochet we're going to do an increase, so that's just 2 double crochet in the same stitch, and then in the last 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet in each one. So this is 5 double crochet. So the previous one was 4, 5. Okay, that should also help you. 2, and then repeat that. You're going to repeat that all around, but this row is going to be a little different than our last ones. We are going to be finishing off our petal color. Okay, so we are going to do this row, and then the next row we are still working with our petal color. So don't switch your yarns quite yet when we're done with this row. I will tell you what to do when we get there, okay? So repeat those steps to increase the petal number to 5, okay? So remember, 1 double crochet in the first one, and the next a double crochet increase, and then in the last 2 just 1 double crochet in each one to equal 5 double crochets, and then chain 2 to do the next petal. Okay, alright, so you have finished row 7, and this is what it should look like. You've already slip stitched into your first double crochet that you made from that row. This is what it should look like in the back. Okay, front. Now for the last bit of the petal, we're gonna chain 1, single crochet into the same stitch. Okay, we're gonna skip this next stitch, we're gonna yarn over, and into the next one we're gonna double crochet 5 in that same stitch. So kind of like a shell stitch. I love shell stitches. Honestly, I think it is a shell stitch. I love shell stitches. Okay, they are so cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you're gonna repeat basically backwards what we just did. So skip this stitch and then single crochet in the last stitch. So chain 2 to jump over here to the next double crochet and single crochet, skip a stitch, and then in the middle stitch, basically it is the middle one. Okay, that's why it's important that we increase in the last one, because we want that middle stitch, because odd numbers have that middle stitch. Double crochet 5 in that same stitch, 2 more. Okay, single crochet in the last one. After you've skipped a stitch, you skipped that stitch and went into this one, chain 2 and jump over here, single crochet, and then we're repeating that all around, and then we're done with our petal color. So you can go ahead and cut that off when you are done, and we will move on to row 9 when we are done with this. Oh my god, it's a flower. Okay, so you're going to cut that yarn. All right, we're going to put the petal color away until we may need it again. I'm not sure how you're working with your color sequence, but I will probably be using this purple again in the project. I'm definitely using this blue color again because I just love it so much. You should have 8 little petals. And this is what the back should look like. Okay, so let's pull the tail. And I like to just work, I just like to weave it in just a little just so that it's not getting too loose and hanging out. So it can just sit there and not cause any problems until it can be officially weaved in. But look at that. Okay, so let's pull out our background color. All right. Pull through. All right, let's do this. Okay, so chain 2. Sorry. Okay, chain 2. All right, now we're going to make another double crochet increase in the first double crochet, and then just a normal one in the next one, so that we have added it up to 3. So as you can see, we've definitely had some fun increases. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's that simple. So this is where it kind of gets fun, at least in my opinion. So from the back, we are going to work in the previous background, chain 5, and double crochet inside of it. So make sure you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and go ahead and double crochet in it. You don't have to necessarily double crochet in the chains, like loops and stitches. You can just work underneath like this, which will probably be quicker, but I prefer to work in the loops because it feels like it'll be more sturdy and it won't stretch as much. And honestly, it's just for this row, so we're gonna do that. I'm gonna speed through it. Maybe not. But make sure you do 5, okay? 5 in the chain. Once you've done the 5, make sure it's behind the petal, see? It's behind it, like that. You're gonna come back to the front, pull out those 2 double crochets. In the first one, we're gonna do a double crochet increase. So just 2 double crochet in that first double crochet, and then just 1 in the next one. All right. And then repeat the previous one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Repeat double crochet 5 in the back chain 5 of the previous background row. And you're just going to repeat that around. It's a fairly simple row. And we will move on to row 10, which is where we are moving on from making a flower to making a back panel for the square, and we'll move on to talk about measurements and stuff like that probably after row 11. But we will move on to row 10 after we have finished this row. Okay, so we are on to the next row. This is what your rows should look like from the back. Okay, now we are going to create 4 corners. Okay, so first we're going to chain 1, all right, and then we're going to single crochet in the next 6 double crochets, okay, including the ones in the back. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, half double crochet in the next, 1 double crochet in the next, and then in this stitch right here, we're going to put 2 double crochet in that same stitch, chain 2, and then 2 more double crochet in that same stitch to create a corner. Okay, and then in the next stitch, 1 double crochet and then a half double crochet in the next. Okay, that is our first corner. Now to get to the next corner, we are going to need to make 11 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Half double crochet in the next, double crochet in the next, and then we've come to our corner stitch again. So 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet in the same stitch. So to help you out on your own, in the corner stitch you're going to put 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 more double crochet in that one stitch to create a corner, and then in the next stitch another double crochet, and then in the next stitch a half double crochet, and then we're going to do 11 single crochet across again, and then we're going to repeat the corner sequence. So meet me back when you've made your 4th stitch and I will show you how to complete the row. Alright, so you've made your last corner, you've made your last half double crochet. Now you just need to make 5 single crochet because you made 6 at the beginning, so that will equal 11. I want to make sure I finish this row with you guys just in case you got confused with the last bit. Okay? Yeah. That's 5 single crochet and then just slip stitch in that first one you made. And look at that. It looks like a square. I'm gonna probably need to pull you guys up a little. This is getting bigger. So look at that. Alright, so let's move on to the next row. Alright, this row is all about adding height because we have these little ridges right here that we do not want. We want it to be flush as possible for when we do the granny row, the granny stitch row, which will be the next row, row 12. So for row 11, you chain 1 and then you half double crochet 4 for the beginning, okay? Yep. Okay. Double crochet 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. Okay. Now in the corner, we're going to do 1 double crochet, chain 2, 1 double crochet. Okay. And then in the next, we're going to do 6 double crochets like before. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now we're going to do 8. 8 half double crochets. So 7. We're going to do 7 half double crochets. 7 half double crochets. My bad, sorry. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, which should leave you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for 6 double crochets. Okay, and then we'll repeat the corner stitch, and then I will tell you what to do next. Okay, 6. Double crochet in the corner once, chain 2, and then double crochet again in that corner. Okay, as you can see, there's not as much of a ridge anymore. It's kind of fluid now. That's what we want. So repeat those steps, okay? So 6 double crochet, 7 half double crochet, 6 double crochet, corner stitch, and then repeat, and I will show you how to end the row like I did the previous row. Alright, so now that we are almost done with the row, you've done your last 6 double crochets, and you should have 3 stitches left for the last 3 half double crochets you'll need to make, which, because of the 4 that we did at the beginning, adds up to 7, so we're all good on the math department. All right, and we have officially finished our square row. I'm going to switch my color out for the next row, and I'm going to cut my yarn. Okay, pull through, whoops. And then I'm gonna just weave in the end really quickly, and I'm gonna show you guys, pardon me, I'm gonna show you guys how to start the granny stitch off of this kind of row, because it can be a little tricky. It was tricky for me to figure out when I was making the pattern, but once you figure it out, it's pretty simple. So, alright, so we're going to be making the granny stitch row, which can be a little complicated because of the awkward number of stitches on these rows. On our latest row, it's not going to be like an even amount of granny stitches compared to how many we're going to be skipping. So I'm going to help you along with this row. We're going to do it together. Alright, so you're going to attach your new yarn, unless you want to keep it, like, you know, but attach it to the corner or one of your corners in your work, and make 3 double crochets. My yarn is caught. Okay. And chain 2, make another 3 double crochets in that corner. Okay. And now you're gonna skip 3, so 1, 2, 3, and double crochet in this one. So chain 1, 1, 2, 3, in the 4th stitch, double crochet 3 in that same stitch. Okay. My yarn keeps getting caught. Okay, now chain 1, skip 3 more, 1, 2, 3, and then into the 4th stitch, double crochet 3. Alright, so you can see, so now we're gonna chain 1 again, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and then into the 4th stitch. So you're gonna repeat that, chain 1, until you get closer to the next corner. So this is where it gets a little tricky. So now when you do it, you'll probably have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You will have 5 double crochets left. So what you're gonna do is you're going to go into the middle stitch to do your 3, okay? This is kind of the only way for us to get the granny stitch without it being too many double crochets to where it's like increased and then it'll start getting like ruffly and weird. So we're gonna have to improvise. So do that. You should have 2 double crochets left to the corner, and then go into the corner and repeat what we did for the quarter stitch, which is 3 double crochet in the corner. Whoops. Chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets. I know I'm wearing a sweatshirt now. It's a different day. I was a bit busy. Had to run some errands when I was filming the previous parts of the video, but okay, so now we're gonna go, you're gonna skip 2, okay? No, you're gonna, okay, I'm sorry. You're gonna skip 3 again. You're gonna start the row, start this side of the square like you did the previous side. So 1, 2, 3, double crochet into the 4th stitch. Make sure you chained 1 after completing your corner stitches. keep going until you have 5 stitches left on this side, okay? Okay, you have 5 stitches left. You're gonna chain 1, okay? Go into the middle stitch, which is the 3rd stitch, but you know, out of 5, it's the middle stitch, okay? This shouldn't be too complicated. I just knew that I wanted to do it with you guys because it can be a bit confusing. And then you're gonna chain 1 and go and repeat your corner stitch. So I hope this makes sense. Double crochet 3 into the corner, chain 2, and then another 3 double crochet into that same corner. And I'm just gonna do a quick little reminder so you guys can do the rest on your own now that we're a little over halfway. You're gonna skip 3 at the beginning. So after each corner stitch, after each corner, you're gonna skip 3 and then keep skipping 3 till you have 5 double crochets left. And you're gonna go into the 3rd stitch or the middle stitch of the 5 stitches and do the same thing, you know, put 3 double crochets in that stitch, chain 1, and then repeat the corner, and then skip 3, repeat, and so on. Make sure you're chaining between each cluster of 3, and I will meet you back when we are done with this row. Alright, so to end the row, make sure you've chained 1 from your last cluster and go into that 3rd stitch in the last 5 stitches that are left. Do your cluster of 3, chain 1, and slip stitch into your first double crochet that you made. And this is what it should look like. It should look very flush. There shouldn't be really any bubbling or any type of like when you like do too many increases and it kind of ruffles. There shouldn't be any of that. It should be very flush and very like it's even out. Oh my god, it's even. Okay, moving on to row 13. I'm going to measure what I have so far, which I have 10 inches. Okay, so what I want is 15. That's how big my back is. Okay, so you want to make sure that your panel measures to your back. I don't usually ask people to help me measure my back. It's pretty easy for me. I kind of just go like where behind your bust is or where behind your chest is. I kind of grip it and I hold it, and I hold this part close to my arm, near the pit, but not like close to it, because we want to measure the back, not like your bust too, or chest. And then you're gonna wrap it around till you get to the other side evenly, and mine measured to 15 inches. Okay, so we are going to do another row. So if your back measures to 15 and you're using the same type of yarn I'm using, worsted weight and same hook size, you're probably gonna need to do the same amount of rows that I'm gonna be doing. So let's do row 13. Pretty straightforward. You're gonna slip stitch till you get to your corner, which really shouldn't take too long. Yep. Okay, and chain 1 and then do a corner stitch, which is 3 double crochets in the corner, chain 2, another 3 double crochet cluster in the same corner. Yeah, gosh, I love the way granny stitches look. So pretty and very effortless. Chain 1 and go into the next chain space and double crochet 3 in there. Very simple. If you know how to do granny squares, you know exactly where I'm going with this. But we're going to repeat the granny stitch all around. There will be no weird improvising with the stitch count. This will be very straightforward and easy from now on. chain 1, cluster of 3 double crochets in each chain 1 space from now on, and then in the corner 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, cluster in that same corner, and continue. I will meet back with you guys when I have completed enough rows for me to get 15 inches of my panel. You can do less rows than me, more rows than me. You do not have to make it as large as your back might be. If you want it to be smaller, a little more tighter, you can, or if you need to improvise because you're using different yarn than me, that's fine. If you need to do like way more rows than me because you're using smaller yarn or anything like that, just know that this is a very customizable pattern. You can do as many rows as you like, for however big of a size you want. I just want mine to match my back because I don't want this to be too big and I don't want it to be too small. I am going to continue to do granny stitch rows until I have my back measurements. You do the same, make it as big or as small as you want, and I will meet back with you in the next segment. So, as you can see, I have finished my panel. I think you can see part of it. Posted it. Okay. So I did 16 rows. That gave me 15. That gave me 15 inches. Pretty much exactly, maybe a little over. But you know, that's just how it is sometimes. But so I did 16 rows. I did do a color change midway. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a little more, I didn't want to just be all white, you know. So we are done with the back panel. Now, if you wanted to make your cardigan longer, like the first one I made, you were going to make 2 of these, okay? You're gonna make 2 of these and then sew them together. So now we're gonna move on to the sides of the panel, and I'm gonna be keeping the white yarn for now. I kind of like it. I think we might do some accents of purple. I'm not sure yet, but let's move on to the front panels. So we're gonna start with the sides of our panel. So you're gonna start and you're gonna slip stitch into the corner, okay? And this is what we're working on. This is the side we're working on. It doesn't really matter because it's even on all sides because it's a square, so you can just work on the corner you ended your last row on. So you're gonna chain 1 and make 1 double crochet, okay? Chain 1, skip a stitch and go into the next one. Chain 1, go to the next one, go into the chain 1 space basically, okay? Chain 1, skip double crochet and go into the middle, chain 1, go into the chain 1 space and double crochet. So basically it's pretty simple. You're gonna just you're just double crocheting and chaining 1 and skipping a stitch, and that basically will leave you to only have to double crochet in the chain 1 spaces in the second stitch of your double crochet through cluster right here. Okay, so let's do that again. Chain 1, skip double crochet, go into the next one, chain 1, skip a double crochet, go into chain 1 space, and just, you can watch me for a few minutes and then I'm gonna go ahead and finish off the row. You're gonna go all the way until you reach the next corner on this side, okay? And do not go any further. I will tell you what to do next. Right, row 2 of panel. Row 1, you should have ended on the next corner. So chain 1, turn your work, double crochet in the same double crochet that you ended on. Chain 1, skip, and like that. You're just chaining 1 and double crocheting over all the double crochets, basically creating these little boxes. You see? Like that. Repeat this, so you're chaining 1 and double crocheting, which is basically the same as the previous row. You're just double crocheting over all the double crochets with chain 1s in between them. Alright, so this is a decrease row. You're going to chain 1 and turn your work, so your work should be at the front now. You're gonna chain 1 and turn your work, and you're going to do 2 double crochet decreases. So that's going to be yarn over, pull through once, yarn over again, and go into the next double crochet, yarn over, pull through once, and then pull through all 3 loops on the hook. Okay? You're going to do that again. You're going to go into the next double crochet, pull through once, again into the next one, pull through once, and then pull through all 3 loops. Okay? You should have a little curve right here. Okay? Should have a little curve right there. Okay, you're going to chain 1, go into the next double crochet. Okay, chain 1, go into the next double crochet, chain 1, next double crochet, and repeat. Just like previous row, we already did the decrease. We don't need to worry about it, and we do not need to end with decreases either. Decreases are only going to be on this side of our work at the bottom. This is the bottom. So chain 1, in the next double crochet, chain 1, next double crochet, chain 1, next double crochet, and repeat that till you reach the end of your row, and I will meet you back for row 4. Alright, you're going to chain 1 and turn your work, and then you're going to double crochet over the same double crochet and chain 1 and repeat as previous row. You're just going to chain 1 and double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Your work should be looking like this, like little boxes, and repeat this all the way until you have 4 stitches left. Okay, and that includes the 2 decreases we made in the previous row. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, mark it if you have to, but that's where you should stop when you have 4 double crochets left. So 2 decreases from the last row and 2 normal double crochets. Okay, so that we can decrease again. Alright, you already chained 1 from your previous, and you're going to yarn over, you're going to go in, pull through once, yarn over again, go into the next double crochet, pull through once, pull through all 3 once, go into the next one, pull through once, and then pull through all 3. Okay, you should see kind of a curve happening, you know. Alright, chain 1 and turn your work, and let's continue on with the next row. Alright, we're changing it up a little bit, and we're gonna chain 1 and turn our work and go into double crochet, and we're gonna decrease again twice. Okay, so yarn over, pull through once, and then go into the next one, yarn over, pull through once, and then pull through all 3 loops on the hook. You're going to do that again. You're going to pull through the next double crochet in the next stitch, pull through once, and pull through all 3 hooks. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to double crochet in every stitch. No more chaining, just double crocheting in all the double crochets, even the chain 1 spaces, those count. Double crochet in all the stitches, including the chain ones. Okay, all around. This is what it should look like. Yep. No chaining, just double crocheting the chain one space and the double crochets until you've reached the end of the row, and then we will move on to row 6. I'm gonna stop at 5 rows. That is enough width for my side panels. If it is not enough for you, continue this sequence of putting double crochets and then decreasing 2 at a time at the bottom, and then at the beginning of every odd row you are going to be decreasing 2, and then at the end of every even row you're going to be decreasing 2. So that should help you. The large that I did make, the first one that I did make was a large, and I did about like 10 rows for the sides. I only need 5. So I'm gonna stop at 5. Okay, so I'm going to cut my yarn. Okay, and we're just gonna go ahead and seam it in, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna repeat these same 5 rows or more, if you need to do more, to the other side, which I'm gonna show you what I mean in a minute when I'm done. All right, so this side, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna start right on this side for this. Okay, so you're gonna attach your yarn and you're gonna repeat this. So go ahead and go back to when I started on the first front or the first side panel, and you're gonna go ahead and repeat those steps till you reach the same amount of rows that you did on the first panel. You want it to be even, so make sure you keep track of what you were doing. And yeah, go ahead and do that, and I will meet you back when I have finished this panel, and we will move on to the front panels. Right, I just realized I'm gonna have to work this next panel with you guys because it's a little confusing because you're basically working it in reverse because of the where you have to start is different. So so you repeat row 1 the same, okay? So go ahead and double crochet in the double crochet that you just did, chain 1, and you're gonna repeat row 2. Like that's the same that we did. So we're just chaining 1, double crocheting over the double crochets, chaining 1, and double crocheting over the double crochets. So you're skipping, okay? But row 3 is when we're gonna be decreasing, so that's where it's gonna be a little different. Okay, but at the end of the row, you're gonna chain 1 and turn your work. Now here's where it is different. So from the previous row, we decreased at the beginning of the row, but because the decrease is down here, because it's mirrored, we have to start our decreases at the end of the row. So to do that, you're gonna go ahead and double crochet into the previous double crochet, chain 1, and repeat that sequence from what we just did in the previous row all the way down till you have 4 double crochets left. Okay, so you have 4 double crochets left. Okay, so like previous row, the decreases are the same. You're gonna yarn over, pull through once, yarn over, pull the loop, pull through once, and then pull through all 3 loops. You're gonna repeat that with the last 2. Don't chain 1 in between. Okay, now you can chain 1 and turn your work. Okay, let me go ahead and show you how to begin row 4, you're gonna yarn over, pull through, yarn over again, go in, pull through, and then pull through all 3 loops. Okay, do it again with these next 2 double crochets, and then do that. Chain 1 and go into the next double crochet as normal, no more decreases, we already did it. Okay, and this is how it should look. So repeat the chain 1 double crochet sequence to create another row of boxes. Okay, and repeat that all through row 4, and then we will meet back for row 5. Alright, so I finished the row, chain 1, flip your work, and this is the row where we're gonna double crochet in chain 1 and double crochet. So no more chain 1s, we're just double crocheting all the way down. Okay, keep doing that until you have 4 double crochets left on this row to do one final decrease for this row, and then your side panels will be done. If you need to do more than 5 rows for the side panels, it's up to you. I only need 5 for this, so alright, go ahead and decrease. So go into the stitch, yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull through 3 loops, and then go into the last 2, pull through, and pull through all 3. Alright, I would chain 1 with this one because you want it to be a little more stable when you cut the yarn than in the last one. So cut it off, pull it off, and there you have it. You have your 2 side panels, so like that. This is what's gonna be the side. Well, technically it's gonna look like this actually, because this is what's gonna be on your back, and then this is what it's gonna look like from behind. Okay, let me weave in the end. Okay, so what you're gonna do is, I already marked off where my panels will end, which will be here on these 2 sides. So I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clusters for separating. So to start off, we're going to start in the corner here, attach your yarn. So this will be for the first panel, obviously. Okay, attach your yarn into I think right here. Yep, all right. Attach your yarn, chain 1, double crochet in there. Okay, and then double crochet. You're gonna keep crocheting all the way down. Find a hole. Don't do too many double crochets because then it'll kind of get a little clunky. So I only am doing 2 in each space, making sure it there aren't too many double crochets, because if you put like 4 or 5 in each of those spaces, it's gonna get really clunky fast. And then go into the corner stitch, and then we're gonna go ahead and go into the first cluster that we have. So just double crochet those 3 stitches, double crochet in the chain space, repeat with the clusters, again go all the way down, in the chain space, and repeat one last time in the final cluster. And that's it. You have your panel. You have your row. There's your panel. Alright, so this is similar to what we've done before. You're going to double crochet in stitch. You're going to do 2 double crochets in this stitch, and then you're going to chain 1. Skip this stitch and go into the next one. Chain 1, skip this stitch and go into the next one. Making a box. I think this looks familiar to you guys, obviously. We just did a row very similar to it, and this just helps keep that nice airy feel to the stitches. Keep going. Until you reach the end of the row. Just chaining 1, skipping a double crochet, and double crocheting in the next one. Alright, double crochet, and this time what we're doing is we're alternating. So let's go and double crochet as normal, no chains on this side or on this row. Okay. And double crochet all the way down. Okay, until you are left with the 2 double crochets that you increased, or that you increased at the beginning of the row. Keep going, and then what you're going to do is you're going to double crochet, and then you're going to double crochet twice in the last stitch for a double crochet increase. Okay, you can see a curve happening right here. Chain 1, turn your work, and you're going to go ahead and double crochet increase again. And then you're going to chain 1, skip this stitch, and go into the next one. Chain 1, skip a stitch, go into the next one. So we're alternating between these 2 rows. We're double crocheting all the way down and then doing the next row in a mesh stitch. So continue doing that till the end of the row. Alright, chain 1, turn your work. For the next 5 rows, we're going to repeat the sequence, but with no increases and no more increases. So this is a normal double crochet as normal. So for 5 rows, we're just going to repeat these sequences of mesh, double crochet row, mesh row, double crochet row for 5 rows. So you should be on the 9th row, and then we're going to go back to increasing on row 10. Now that you've finished your 9 rows, we are going to add an increase on the 10th row. So, because we're going to be doing a chain 1, you're going to add 2 double crochets in that same stitch for an increase. Chain 1, skip a stitch, go into the next. Chain 1, skip a stitch, go into the next one. And continue doing that all the way down, because we're doing the mesh row right now. At the end of the row, you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. So for this one, you're going to go into the same double crochet you just made, and then go into the chain 1 space and double crochet. So you're double crocheting in the double crochets and the chain 1 spaces. This is not a mesh row, so as you already know, we're alternating. So these will be increase rows. So we're going to be increasing each row until we have 16 rows. Okay, so until we have 16 rows, we're going to be increasing. So that is six more rows of alternating these two patterns with increases at the end of the rows and at the beginning of the rows. So at the beginning of the even rows, you're going to be increasing. At the end of the odd rows, you're going to be increasing. So it kind of helps. So 11 is an odd row, so we're going to be increasing at the end. So now you know what to do. You increased, and then you're just going to keep increasing until you have 16 rows in total. And I will meet back with you. So once you have finished all those increase rows, you are finished with increasing. Now it is time to just crochet until you are at the end of your back panel. So for me, that will be about 5 rows. Go ahead and crochet 5 rows without increasing. Do not increase at all. You're just going to be alternating between these 2 rows, back and forth for 5 rows, and then meet back with me when you have done 5 rows, which will be a total of 21 rows. So you've finished all 21 rows. If you made the smaller panel, if you just did the 1 panel, you will only need 21 rows. Now if you made the big one, you will need 37 rows. You'll need you will need 37 rows. But again, you will still stop where I told you to, which was at row 16, no more increases, and then from then on you will crochet until you have either 21 or 37. We are going to repeat all of this on this side. I will show you how to start again, and then I will come back after I show you how to do that when both of the front panels are done. So when you're starting on this side, you're going to want to start obviously up in the front so that it's the same, so that all the stitches are facing the same direction on both panels. So where you have marked your stitch, go into the first cluster of 3, not the chain space. I mean, you could if that's how you did it, but I don't want to do that. Alright, so go in to each stitch, double crochet into all 3, and then double crochet in the chain 1 space, double crochet into the next cluster of 3, and chain space. Again, your final cluster of 3. Alright, and then the chain 1 space. Now again, I'm going to tell you that make sure that your spaces are even. I do 2 in each one, so 1 here, 1 here. Just kind of eyeball it, and then 2 here, and then 1 here, 1 here, 2 here, oops, and then 2 more. Perfect. Okay. So you have all of those, you're gonna chain 1. You're gonna turn your work. Sorry, I got distracted. You're gonna turn your work, and then now we're gonna start the increases, which will be the opposite of, unlike the other run, which was on the beginning of the even rows, you would increase, and at the end of the odd rows, you would increase, but it's the opposite. So at the beginning of this even row, we're going to not increase, but we're going to increase at the end of the row. And then the opposite will be on the odd rows. At the beginning of the odd rows, we're going to increase. So we're going to increase all the way, we're going to increase for this row, and then I'll meet back with you for the next row. Alright, so we're going to chain 1 in the same one, and then go skip 1 and go to the next one. You know how to do this, just repeat what we've been doing on this side, and when we have finished both front panels, I will tell you what to do next. So as I said before, it's really just a mirror of what we did on this side, all the same. Make sure it's 21 rows total, 37 if you did the big one, and make sure that after 16 rows you stop increasing and just move on to normal crocheting with no increases till you reach 21 rows or 37 rows. Basically, you're going to be increasing for 5 rows at the beginning, and then, or 4 rows actually, but when you have 5 rows, you stop increasing, and then till you have 9 rows, you crochet as normal, and then you do increases again till you have 16 rows, and then you stop, and then, as I've said, you know what to do. And alternating between these 2 types of stitches we've been doing, and I'll meet you back when I have 2 front panels. Okay, so you've finished both of your panels. Now we're going to be marking where our armholes will be so that we know when to stop sewing on the sides. So I marked mine on the 16th stitch of the side panel row right here. So the 16th stitch, and on the 10th row of my panel, of my front panel, and I did the same on this side. I tried it on first, and then I marked those 2 pit areas with stitch markers, just so that I wouldn't forget, and see how it fit. It fit nice. Do the same for yourself. Try it on. Make sure it fits nice. Make sure it's all, you know, like, it looks like, you know, it fits right and it's comfortable. Mark the stitches you know that you're gonna need to, you know, stop when we're sewing the sides. Basically, I kind of just put it on as if the armholes were already there, and then I just marked underneath my arm and made sure it wasn't too small or too big. And we're going to be increasing anyway, so that they're bell sleeves, so that really it's fine if it's a little more of a fitted fit, not necessarily tight. Don't make it tight, but you know, yeah. So go ahead and do that, and then I will show you how I sew the panels together. Alright, so if you're new to sewing, look up like a mattress stitch to help you, because this is just gonna be like a quick little like thing to help you know like what you're doing, but really I'm not like, this isn't like a tutorial sewing part, because I am not really like, I wouldn't say I'm great at sewing, because I wouldn't want to lead somebody down the wrong path. So follow along if you want to, or watch a mattress stitch video to help you sew your panels together, you know, whatever you want to do. Alright, so basically I eyeball the sewing mattress stitch style. So what I do is I go in right where I marked my stitch. So I'm gonna go into the tight area so that the knot can be on the outside or the inside of the top. And then I'm gonna go into, I know that this side doesn't have like stitches like this one, but I pretty much eyeball it, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. Go into that one, yep. Pull on the knot, just, okay. Go into the next one. They're just basically going back and forth. If you know what a mattress stitch is, you know exactly what I'm doing. If you don't know what a mattress stitch is, again, I would recommend you look that up and sew your panels together like that, because I just feel like it's so much more seamless that way. So just do this on both sides, however you want to do it. If you want to do the slip stitch join, go ahead and do that. But once we have finished joining both panels, both front and side panels to each other, try it on again and make sure you're happy and comfortable, and then we can finally move on to the sleeves, which I love doing sleeves. It's so much fun, and yeah, we're just getting closer and closer to our finished piece. Okay, so I will meet you back when I have finished sewing both of my panels together. Okay, so now that you have finished seaming your side panels together and you've tried it on, you're going to go ahead and start with making the sleeves. So take whatever color you are using for your sleeves. I'm gonna alternate colors every few rows, but for now I want to start with the cream because it's just easier. So the thing about when you're starting the sleeve row is there's gonna be a little bit of eyeballing. So start on whatever sleeve you want to start on and attach your yarn to the pit area right here. Go ahead and make a double crochet in there. Whoops. Okay. Now we're gonna be eyeballing it, so, but because this side is stitches, it'll be a little easier. So chain one, skip a stitch, go into the next one, chain one, skip a stitch, go into the next one, repeat that until you don't have any more normal stitches to go into, and I'll show you how I do it. Okay, so we're here now, chain one, and I'm gonna go ahead and say that this looks like it's a stitch and go into here. Okay, skip a stitch. I'm gonna go ahead and go into here, skip that chain, skip this space right here, chain one. I'm gonna skip this and go into here, chain one. I'm gonna skip this space and go into here, chain one. Again, skip that space and go into here, and slip stitch into your first stitch. Now, depending on how big or small your armhole was, that shouldn't have been too many stitches. So now we have done row one. The rest of the rows should be easier for you. So This is going to be a completely mesh sleeve, completely. So I'm going to repeat this row with you guys. And I'll tell you what to do after that, because this is pretty repetitive. This is probably the easiest part of the pattern. Not really a lot going on for a while, depending on how far it takes to get to your elbow. But you're just going to repeat, you know, chain one, skip a stitch, double crochet, chain one, skip a stitch, double crochet. So you get the same box mesh look that we've been doing throughout the pattern. And then when you have finished that, you're going to continue doing that until you have reached your elbow. So once that doesn't know, it doesn't really, like, there's no like real like how many rows it could take to get there, because it depends on your yarn, your arm length. So really keep trying it on. Make sure that you don't over crochet. Unless you're not going for a bell sleeve, then go ahead and just do this as normal all the way down to your desired length of your sleeve. But if you want the bell sleeve, only do this until you reach your elbow, and then we will start the increasing for the bell sleeve. Okay, so for me it was 8 rows to my elbow with the yarn that I'm using and the extra bit from the side panel that does kind of run off your shoulder a little bit, so you don't have to crochet too many rows. So for the increasing, you will need 2 stitch markers or a bobby pin or whatever you have on hand for this next step. So we're going to begin the row like normal, chain 1 and double crochet in there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to chain 1 and you're going to go into the next stitch, double crochet. But then you're going to go into again an increase, double crochet, increase. Mark that first stitch, okay? This will be what you increase in, okay? So I'll show you, and then before we start the row, you're gonna lay out your arm, and you can either count the stitches or you can just eyeball it. I'm just eyeballing it, and going into this one, this will be where the next increase will go. Okay, so I'll show you what to do when we get there. Chain 1, double crochet, you're gonna increase, and you're gonna go ahead and mark, you're gonna put your stitch marker in the first one. Okay, like the previous one, and then continue as normal. You're gonna turn your row. It's very important that we start turning our rows during the increase parts, because that's how we marked our stitches. So just make sure that you do that. Alright, so chain 1, go to the next stitch, and crochet as normal. Obviously don't do anything different until we get to our stitch markers. Then I will show you what to do for the stitch markers. Okay, so now that we've reached our increase, you're gonna go into the first one, remove your stitch marker, and then you're gonna chain 1, go into the increase stitch, put your stitch marker into the first double crochet that you did, and that's what you're gonna keep doing when you make the increase. Put the stitch marker in the first stitch you made. We're gonna be increasing every other row. So for this row, we're just crocheting as normal, even with the increase. Keep going, and I'll show you again with the last one so you understand. We've reached our last increase. You're gonna repeat, you're gonna just chain 1, go into that stitch, as normal, no increase needed. Treat it like a normal stitch, and then go and put your stitch marker into that first double crochet you made. Chain 1, go and substitch. Okay, you're gonna chain 1 and you're gonna turn your work. Move on to the next row. Okay, so for this one, chain 1, go into the first stitch, okay? Chain 1 and then increase in that double crochet with the marked double crochet, and just two double crochets in that same stitch. Mark the first one that you made, chain 1, and continue. I'll meet you back for the next row, and I'll do that next row with you, and then I'll tell you what to do moving forward. Okay, you're gonna turn your work. Alright. Chain 1, double crochet. Okay, so this is a non-increase row. Okay, so you're just gonna double crochet as normal till you get to a stitch marker. Okay, so now that we are at the increase, you're gonna chain 1 and go into that marked stitch as normal, as if it's not an increase, and then continue. Now pop off that and then go into the first double crochet you made in the increase, and then just double crochet as normal. Chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Okay, repeat that same step, just double crochet as normal into that marked stitch, pop off that stitch marker, put it in the first one, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, slip stitch. Okay, so keep trying on your sleeve, make sure it's, fitting right, you like the length, you like how it's going, and I will meet you back when I have finished my bell sleeve. I'll tell you how many rows I did, and I'll tell you how to move forward. Just to keep in mind, as you're trying it on and seeing the bell sleeve, you can always take out the stitch markers and stop increasing at any time if you are happy with the way the bell sleeve looks. My preference is bell sleeves that are really big. I like them, they're fun, they're pretty, but if that is not your preference, you can just do a couple rows of increases and be done, just for a little body, or you can keep going all the way till you're done with the length like I did. Just so you're aware, you don't have to keep increasing. You can take out your stitch markers and just continue on when you are happy with the size of your bell. Okay, so I finished the first sleeve. I did 14 increase rows, and it reached about right here on my hand. So with the shell row, it'll probably reach my knuckles or just below them. Now it's time to do the other sleeve. So what you're going to do is you're going to do the exact same thing we did. Make sure you do the exact same thing you did on your first sleeve, the same amount of rows, same places of color change. Make sure you marked that. I just did like I did with the back panel. I just did blue, green, 2 rows of those so that they're one increase, and then I just did one last 2 rows of white to kind of match this. So repeat your exact same sleeve on the other sleeve, and I will meet back with you when you have finished both of your sleeves. Just as a side note, when you are doing your next sleeve, make sure you have the same amount of starting double crochets as you did your other sleeve. I had 19, so I'd make sure that I did 19 double crochets in here. So just make sure that you did the same amount of stitches as well, because when you increase, that'll be the same amount, it'll be the same number of stitches, because you're going to do the same amount of increases you did on your other sleeve. Now that you have finished both your sleeves, it's time to finish off with the shell border. So we're gonna start. On the around the collar, around right here, the back of the collar. Okay. You want it to face this way so that it faces outward all the way around. You don't want it facing this part. You want it facing this side so that the shells are front facing and you're not seeing the back of the shells. Okay, so now grab your shell color that you want it to be. I want it to be purple, like the flower. Okay, so I like to attach on the first stitch of the granny stitch right here. So I'm gonna attach my yarn. Okay, make 1 double crochet. Now make 4 more. So 2, 3, 4, 5. You want 5 double crochets. You're gonna skip 1 stitch and go into the next one, single crochet, skip 1 stitch, and then the chain gaps count as a stitch. Do another 5 cluster, double crochet 5 in 1 stitch for a shell stitch. Skip a stitch, go into the next one. Okay, skip a stitch, go into the next one. Skip a stitch, go to the next one. 5 double crochets in same stitch. Single crochet, skip a stitch and go into the next. This is a chain right here, so that's why I'm going into that one. And then just continue doing this all the way around. You'll have to eyeball it sometimes because the panels won't have stitches to go into that are easy, like the this part or underneath the border, or at the bottom of the back panel. So you'll have to eyeball it, which it's not going to be too hard, I don't think, personally. Just, whatever space looks like it would represent a distance of a stitch, go ahead and skip over it and single crochet, or put a shell stitch there. Alright, you're nearing the area right here where you're gonna reach the bottom. So keep skipping stitches and keep skipping a stitch and then shell stitch and then skip a stitch, single crochet, and then skip another stitch and repeat the sequence. Okay, so right here we're gonna skip this right here, and then we're gonna go right into here with our single crochet. So this should give us a line right here. We should have a nice line that goes right around, because there might be a little divot right here because there was a curve here, just to add curve to the cardigan so it kind of hugged your body when you pulled on the front panels. That was my intention when I was making the piece, when I was making the pattern. So, and then that's it. Continue going down the line, and then you'll come up with again with the front panel, one on the other side of the front panel. And right now we're at the bottom of the cardigan. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, skip, go into here. All right, we're just gonna keep going. All right, so we're close to the end, so I'm gonna end the row with you guys just to make it easier. So we have completely gone all the way around. I love that about this border because it's so easy. There's no stopping in the middle. And go ahead and slip. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's this. And then slip stitch into there. Yep. You have finished around your border. Oh, it looks so pretty. Okay. Now I'm gonna attach where I'm gonna attach probably. Let me get my yarn. Okay. It doesn't really matter where you attach, I guess. But I'm gonna attach to where I started the row for the sleeves, just to make it easier. You're gonna, okay. Now go ahead and do 5 double crochet in that stitch. We're gonna do the exact same thing. We're just working in the round for the sleeves. It'll obviously be less stitches because we don't have to go all the way around the cardigan. It'll just be the little bell sleeve. All right. Now the convenient part is when you skip a stitch, it's either, depending on where you start, it's either going to be a chain 1 space or a double crochet. So we're gonna go in and skip a stitch and do a single crochet, and then skip a stitch and do another shell stitch. The chain spaces count as stitches. Okay, so just keep doing that. You have finished your sleeve, the shell sleeve. It's so pretty. Go ahead and do the same on the other sleeve, and you are officially done with your cardigan. Weave in your ends if you haven't already, and that's it. If you want to see how it looks on, I will be showing a small clip of it at the end of the video, and I will also have a short on my TikTok. It has the same username as my YouTube, Roazanadesigns, if you would like to see more of the cardigan on and how it fits. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please comment below and give me a thumbs up if I earned it, and please subscribe if you want more whimsical tutorials like this. This was my very first tutorial, so any mistakes or confusion, please comment below so I can answer your questions and give you some clarity. And I already have a new tutorial that I am going to be taping very soon, and I already have another idea for a pattern in the works that I will also turn into a YouTube tutorial. So there will be more tutorials in the future, definitely, and I post shorts as often as I can and as often as I post on Instagram and TikTok, which are both usernames Roazanadesigns. So thank you for joining me on this little cozy side of the internet, and please come back again soon.